How would you improve?
On the prosecution of DUI and sex crimes.
I think it would be difficult to improve on what our office does for DUI prosecutions and sex crimes. I have tried over 6,000 DUI cases as city prosecutor and as county attorney. We have Kevin Salzman is doing the DUI prosecution now. One of the things I have done over the years is by sitting on the Attorney General's task force, trying to toughen the laws, making the laws better. I was one who pushed for criminalization of refusals of breath tests. I think that in and of itself will, and that finally got passed this year. It should have been passed several years ago. I think that in and of itself will reduce will increase the amount of convictions. And I know that also in the last year, the legislature finally, in the last 2 years, they gave us the ability to get search warrants when someone refused. I implemented that policy. That policy is in effect. If you refuse a breath test, we're going to go wake up a judge at 2 or 4 in the morning. We don't care. And we're going to get the results of the blood test, and no longer will people be able to avoid prosecution by simply not giving us a breath sample or a blood sample. That is the most important evidence that we can get in a DUI case that's needed. On sex crimes, we send my assistants, we attend seminars. Those are vigorously prosecuted and prosecuted well. So you do it by having good police officers like we do, and good sheriff's department officers who do a good job, and then we follow up on prosecution.
Thank you. I would like to start off by stating that I agree that the cases that are coming through the county at this time as to DUIs and sex cases, they're being handled competently and aggressively. There's always room for improvement, and sometimes looking to the legislature to make some needed changes is one of those ways to do that. But I'm going to tell you right now, the legislature has picked at the DUI law to the point where you really have to specialize in order to really know what's going on. And so it's fortunate we have someone here who focuses quite a bit of attention on DUIs and can keep up with those changes in the law. Working within the law as it exists, one of the best things that can happen is working at preventative measures. And there was a program instituted here in Ford County, the Victim Impact Panel, that has been in effect now for just a few years. And the goal of that is to show a person who commits a DUI, before they get to their 7th, 8th, or 9th DUI, and believe me, that is not uncommon, that there is an impact on other human beings' lives. And going to those, what we hope is that statistically over time we see that's had an impact, and that's why they call it the Victim Impact Panel. So making more efforts to do things in first and second time offenders so that they understand the seriousness and the luck that they've experienced if no one's been injured or killed. As to the prosecution of sex crimes, it's my position that the county attorney needs to take a more active role in those cases. Most of the prosecutors in the office, aside from 2, are very new, very green prosecutors, and one of them is handling off-grid sex crimes now. That's something that if we had a working county attorney who was there every day, 40 to 50 hours a week, and able to involve himself, that those serious off-grid sex crimes could be prosecuted by that person. It's really an extra pair of hands and an experienced prosecutor who has sex crimes experience who can actually take some of those cases and make sure they're handled properly.
The situation with sex crimes, we have, I think you've all heard of Jessica's Law. I think we probably have placed more people in prison than any county our size because we vigorously prosecute those. I supervise my assistants well. They know what they're doing. I hire good people. And I am hands-on. I've worked, I guess you can ask my wife, since in my 37 years of practice, I average about 60 hours a week. The idea that I am not involved in my office is offensive and insulting. I work hard and always have to prosecute the criminals in this town, and I always will. I simply want the county commissioners to pay our assistants, the people who do the work. I want them to pay them an adequate salary. We're 40% behind Finney County. They have $800,000 more devoted to their county attorney's office than ours.
I don't doubt that Mr. Malone works very hard and works a lot of hours. Anyone who's taken on the tremendous variety of responsibilities that he has is going to be in a position to work pretty darn hard. My concern is that Fort County Attorney's Office takes third place. There is a need when you practice civil law to put in the hours in order to get paid. There's a need when you have a contract with the city to perform services 1 or 2 days a week that you show up in order to get paid. Unfortunately, what we have is a salary position for county attorney. There's no specific requirement on how often that person has to be present. I worked in the office. I saw how it went. I come back to the fact that you have to have a person that's there not just because they are trying to make a lot of money. And prosecutors are public servants. Most of us who got into this line of work as a profession didn't do it in order to get rich.
Okay, so now that we know what this is going to look like, just remember that if you want to ask a question, because I think we're going to, this is going to take a while.